and make sure that my AI companion is running. Excellent. All right. Let me share my screen out here. Here. All right. So tonight is going to be a kind of a, we're going to revisit the aggregate functions, and we're going to talk about those for a little bit. And then completion of that, we'll talk about anyone's questions on the final projects or anything else going on, or any other topic you want to talk about. And so I'm gonna start the conversation with how are you guys doing? Anything you're struggling with right now? Any questions you have before we begin on the last 6 weeks of lessons?
Well, I just had a few questions regarding the final project.
Sure.
Yes, I just wanted to confirm. I know you've mentioned this before, but I just wanted to verify.
Hmm?
So the weekly exercises that we're supposed to do if we're like doing the final exam, we'd use that time to rather work on the project. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. The final project, the weekly assignments about possum pets, that is your conduit to talk to me directly on how you're doing your project. If you need any help, give me the ideas. Kind of, I just want to get it. That's kind of my check-in with you guys every week to see how you're doing. And then that will also help you to, and so that releases you from that assignment. And that's the assign instead of being graded on the possum pet stuff, I'm grading you on the correspondence we have for the project, which means it's kind of pass fail. So yeah.
Mhm. Okay, I just wanted to confirm. So it's not like specific weeks. We could every week we should just report on like the progress that we've made with our final project,
Yep.
right?
I mean, if you
Okay.
want to do the possum pet stuff, go for it. I think it's we designed that to be fun and to play with it, and it'll help you practice on your final project. But
Mhm.
the pets thing is a final project in and of itself. So I don't
Right.
want to overwhelm people by giving them too much. So if you're doing the final project, it's your choice to rather either do the possum pets or you just use as a reporting tool how you do in your project or both.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Oh, no problem. Anything else?
I had a question too.
Go for it.
So I've created my database and I'm sure there's things I can improve on it, but I'm kind of not exactly sure what to be reporting each week because I've been working a lot more on the front end and like dealing with communicate. I'm still working on the database, like dealing with communication between front end and database,
Mhm.
but I don't like change the queries. I haven't changed the database very much.
You can talk to me about that. How you doing? I mean, because I that's part of the if you're using this project as to more about connecting the front end to the back end, because if your database design and your queries are all written and you've already satisfied the requirements of the final project, I'm more than happy to be a sounding board for you and how to do the front end connection to the back end. So as long as your schema is done and your ERD is done and your population database is done and your case studies are done and you're just working on the front end, you can absolutely use that to communicate me again with the same as Lava. You can either do the possum pet stuff or you can use that to communicate to me like here's how I'm go through the step by step on how you connect the front end to the back end, or if you have any questions on how that's done and stuff like that. I
Oh,
can't help you with the what are you using? Not Python?
I'm using Flutter,
Okay, I can't. I
Flutter
probably
and
can't help you with
Python.
that, but I can help you with the SQL code or like I can help you with flows and stuff like that. So,
All right, thank you.
mhm. Yeah, I try to make this course as real world as I can. And the final project is kind of my cornerstone of that. Here's a project you guys are coming up with. I'm sorry, you're designing this on your own. And whatever that means to you is what we're going to walk through. As long as you meet the bare requirements of what I'm asking, which is the ERD, the code for the database, the code to insert the data, the CRUD statements in the form of the case studies for the database and the PowerPoint presentation or 3 to 5 minute video, um, it's up to you on how you're going to do it. I like it works well if you keep me in the loop of what you're doing and what you're working on. If I can like if you show me the schemas, I can point stuff out to you, say "Hey, maybe you want to do this and look at this, it's not going to work that way. Just kind of fine tune it. Um, but it's just really an exercise for you guys to really design something from the ground up, and it's all you. And you're the one responsible for it. You want to come up with it. You're the one who does it.
But
Any other questions? If not, I'll jump into this week's code. So this week we're really focusing on the aggregates, and we're going to be playing with the group by function, the having function. I'm going to introduce something called rollup to you, which has its uses, but once you see what it does, you'll understand why it's useful. But it's very ham-handed. It's not elegant in what it does. So, and we'll start with the codes from simple to complicated as we get to the end. So here I have a very simple one. I'm using the payment table and the customer table. And what I'm trying to find out is the customer ID, the store they rented from, and the total amount of money they paid to that store in rentals. So I've got these three here. I've got customer and store ID. I'm my join statement with my on clause. And then I've got my group by. And because these two are not aggregates, this is the aggregate. I need to have them both in the group by. And then I'm ordering by customer ID and then by store ID. So when I run this and I get my results, I get customer one, store one, customer two, store one, customer four and store two, customer five and store one. So you'll see, I don't think we have anyone where one person's renting the same store. But so that all the results is the customer ID, the store ID, and then the payments. Over here, we can even jazz this up a little bit and take the first name and last name here, and we can do add those to it and run the query. So they got their name and their store ID. Now, I don't know if we talked about the having clause before, but this is the same thing here. I'm doing first name, last name, how much money was spent, payment customer, grouping by customer ID. And then running this. Because I'm running by customer ID, but now notice I am grouping by this kind of goes against the rules I said, like these are not aggregate functions and this is an aggregate, but I only have the one here. So this is a bit of a trick that I wanted to show you guys because you'll notice that customer ID is coming from the payment table and not the customer table, and amount is coming from the payment table. So there is an unwritten rule here. Hey, Josh, unwritten rule here that if you have columns that are not being aggregated that are not in the table where the aggregate is, you don't have to put them in, and it still works because this group by is only grouping by the payment and not including these in here. And then I've got this one here. I've got having. Having is the where for an aggregate. You can't use the where clause for it to have having. So in this case, we're looking where total spent, which is this here, is greater than 100. So again, so with all these numbers will be over 100 here. Okay. Next here, I'm using count. So here I've got show me the name as the category name and the number of films in that category. And I'm ordering it by number of films and I'm grouping by name. So I've got 74 sports films, 73 foreign, 69 family, 68 documentary, and so on and so forth. In this query, I've got a having statement and a where statement. So in this, I'm just using the one table, I'm just using the film table. I'm getting the rating and the count of the films in the rating, where rating is PG and G, but having a film count greater than 90. Okay. So again,
Hey,
hmm?
sorry, I had a question about the having
Yeah.
thing. Um, where is it? The because you're using having with aggregate, right?
Hmm.
Is that can you use the where
No,
if it's explicit
no,
grouping?
no. If
No.
you're
Okay.
aggregate, if you are doing if you need to filter on the aggregate column, you have to use having.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Any other like here, because like this one here, these guys, the wheres, these aren't that's not the aggregate. This is the aggregate. So I can use where for a rating, but I have to use having for film count.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool, 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 cool.
Mhm. Take a look at this one when it runs. I got 193 PG and 178 G. If I take this out, that's not gonna make a difference because it's still just PG and G. But if I take this out here, I'll get all the ratings. So here we've got another here I'm using an extract as my I'm manipulating the rental date column and I'm using extracting out just the year and then doing a count of rentals. So here I'm grouping by rental year and I'm ordering by rental year. This is not an aggregate. This isn't adding things up, it's just counting. So I don't need to use the uh, uh, this is an aggregate. This is an aggregate. So I'm aggregating here with my group by, and then I'm just ordering by the rental year. And again, keep in mind, whenever we alias a column, we can use that name wherever we are in that rest of that query.
Yeah, actually, I had a question about that as well. Sorry.
Mhm.
I was just going through the exercises assignment earlier, and I was asking ChatGPT for help, and I had done that. I had done like order by and then just use um the alias or whatever it is. And ChatGPT was saying that you can't, like it has you still have to do by the number or whatever, but it was still working. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it
Uh,
was wrong.
well, ChatGPT lies.
Yeah,
Um,
like you've
it,
said
it-
before.
it's not as smart as it's not as smart as we want it to be, and it's not as smart as we think it thinks it is. The only thing you have to remember, and this is and I do it this way because over the years I've learned that people don't like. Normally, I would write with like an underbar here. But yeah, so just as long as you remember to put the quotes around here, it'll work. So I take these quotes off. It's not going to understand it because it doesn't like the fact that it's two different words. But yeah, you can absolutely do that. You can refer to it by the alias name,
Right, fair enough.
but only in
Sweet.
this transaction. Outside of this
Yeah, 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 yeah. Cool.
transaction. So here I've got I'm using average, max, and min. I'm getting the rating, the average cost of the movie in that rating, the minimum cost, and the maximum cost. Again, this is just a parlor trick, and I'm ordering by average cost. So so now we're using a count distinct. So the distinct clause is not one we've used before. Distinct forces that there are no duplicates. So here I'm getting the store ID. I'm getting a count of the the unique customers because I'm using the distinct clause. Joining store and staff and rental, and I'm grouping by store ID. And the reason why I'm using distinct here, because in the rental table, there's gonna be a ton of customer IDs because every time a customer rents something, that ID is attached to the rental table. So I just want the unique IDs and how many times they occur. Does that want to make sense? So here, store one has 599 unique customers, and store two has the same amount of unique customers. That would make sense. That was a little trickier. Okay. So here I've got two different queries, and this again very simple. This one I have select average rental duration from the film table. So this looks at every entry in the film table and tells me the average duration is 4.9 hours. Here in this query, that's an implicit group. This is implicitly implied as a group. Here I've got an explicit group. I'm saying the group is rating. So I'm going to get the average rental duration. Rental duration. So 4.9 days. The average rental duration based on rating. So it seems that NC-17 movies stay out the longest, and R-rated stay out the shortest. Sure. Um, Here when I run this one, so here I've got select count as total rentals and select count return date as total rentals returned. The difference here is in return date, there might be nulls because they have not been returned yet. So in a count, this is demonstrating that when you're using the count function, it doesn't count nulls. So I got 16,044 out and 15,861 returned. So I got a bunch of that stuff. All right. So this is where you get to the roll up. I'm getting the store ID, I'm getting the renting and the count of total rentals per store, per rating, right? Coming off these tables, and then I'm grouping by store ID and then rating, and then using this roll up command. So let me just show you this query and I'll explain what the roll up is. It's easier to see it than to explain it. So when we look at it here, this is store ID number 1, right? So G's 1377, NC-17, 1625, blah, blah, blah. But here I've got store 1 null 7919. So what roll up does is it rolls up the totals of any aggregate column based on the first entry in the store ID here. So this is the primary one, right? So it bases on that. So here it just gives me the total of this column. All it does is pull up this column. Over here, I got store number 2, 8125, right? And then here I've got 1644. So this rolls up into this. This rolls up into this. And then this rolls up into that. So it's just a way to get a total on your aggregate columns based on how you're doing things. And again, here's my group by store ID for rating. So the first one I do is the store ID, and then I do it by rating, and then do it with roll up. Make sense? Okay, here, formatting the day as year, month, day, and then the count of rentals by rental ID. I'm grouping by day, I'm ordering by rentals, and I'm limiting it 1. So that's just going to show me the top 1. So I know that on July 31st, 2005, I rented the most movies I've ever rented before. Here's a fun, nice long one. I'm joining customer, rental, inventory, and film category and category together. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5 tables I'm joining here. I'm getting the first name, last name, and the count of action rentals. So I got a where clause here where category is action. I'm grouping it by customer ID. Okay. And having action rentals greater than 5 and order by action rentals. So I'm just getting out of all of these, I'm getting where the category is action. I'm grouping by the customer ID. And I want to see how many action rental, who has rented over 5 action movies. And again, notice that the group by doesn't have to be in the select clause. And again, notice that because I'm using customer ID as my group by, and these two are in the customer table, I don't need to group by them. They don't have to be in the group by because this supersedes because this is the primary key. Right? Here I just have my aggregate in the order by column. I'm ordering by film count, first name, last name, how many film counts. I'm seeing how many actors and how many films they were in, and then I'm ordering it by how many films they were in. And lastly, here's a new one and another new one. We've got group concat, and then we got separator. So let's look at the results for this here. So what this is saying here, you'll notice I got a bunch of people here, right? So I'm getting title. I'm doing group concat of A first name, A last name from film actors, and actor. And I'm grouping by title, right? So what's happening here is this group concat on this join is getting all the actors that are in this movie and putting them in the same line as opposed to in a separate row each time. And then I'm separating it by a comma. This command is only available in MySQL. It doesn't exist anywhere else. I can change that to slash. All right. Okay. Any questions on, again, we've done aggregate. This is our third week doing aggregates. I'm just adding layers to it. Introducing to the granularity that we can put this stuff into. So are there any questions on this? Okay. And now is the time of the night. I turn it over to you guys with any questions on your final projects or anything else that you have any questions on. Could be Star Wars, could be Brandon Sanderson, anything. You guys are easy. You guys let me off easy tonight. So you guys are progressing nicely on your final project. I know, Michael, you are, you got the back end. I've seen the stuff you sent me and it looks good. And I've seen your stuff too. So, do you have any questions about that? Any thing I can help you with that on?
I personally don't think so, unless if like I'm open to any feedback on the database.
Did you sent me the ERD, right?
I believe so.
Okay. I'll go back and double check. I think I've seen yours because I remember you talking about the front end. It looked really solid. I think I made a couple suggestions on it, but I'll go back and look again. And if there's anything, I'll put it in this week's notes for you. But it looked really, really good.
Wonderful, thank you.
So yeah, you're progressing quite nicely on it. And I mean, you're already like writing the front end, so it'll be an exciting project for you, I think. I think it's a lot of fun. Alba, how about you? Any questions on your ERD? Anything I can help you with tonight? Alrighty. Well, then I am going to call it at 9:55, which is good because y'all got to get ready for Halloween this week. It's going to be a crazy week. So if there's nothing else, I will go ahead and end the class. And if there's anything I can be to help you, you just email me, text me, shoot me something in the assignments, and I will do what I can. Alrighty.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Have a great week. I'll talk to you next week.